Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Eyes 6, and this is the special surrender of Britain. Deal with this episode, including MC partisan breakouts, such here right now. Okay, let me get ready. Reading. Occupation of the British Isles. Now that we have won the Battle of Britain, we must establish a new government. The immediate action organization shall be set up using our friends in Britain. These will come from the British Union again. British Union of Fascists, Imperial Fascist League, the National Socialist League, the Nordic Society, and the Right Club. Okay, let me talk a little bit about some of those things. A very good. Now, maybe if you want to poke me if I don't remember when I put this up, the link to a movie on YouTube called It Happened Here. It was made back, I think, in the 60s. Really good movie about the occupation of Britain by Nazi Germany. One of the producers, I believe, of it was Andrew Molo. He was responsible for a lot of books being written, including writing a bunch of books on uniforms, including Nazi uniforms. He was at one time. They've expanded the research. I delved deep in some stuff, but I have digital copies of it. But he was probably one of the early big, I think, 6 or 7 book set of SS uniform books. At one time, the foremost expert on it. So he's one of the people behind the movie. So the people who made that movie really knew what they were talking about. We'll see. Okay. Yes. Once the war got going, I think, I'm just sort of pulling this out of my butt, kind of, but I think they locked up about 5,000 British Union of Fascist types. Various facilities, some of them camps, some of them prisons. The prisons particularly went the higher leadership elements of the group. A bunch of them, of the early suffragette movement in Britain, the women, bunch of them, they were middle class. Again, I'm not saying the majority of the leadership, but these are supposedly some of the leaders of the women's suffragette movement at the time. Joined the British Union of Fascists. They saw fascism as a way of the future, way forward or whatever. So a lot of them were locked up. Now they were, in their 50s or 60s by the time they're being locked up in 1940 something, 1940 or 9 or whatever. It took a while to do it, but that was the only real mass organization. The Imperial Fascist League. By the time of the start of World War II, and they're the ones, the Imperial Fascist League, and they were a fascist organization. They used the British flag, the British Union of Fascists sort of uses a lightning bolt symbol as. Well, I'm sure a lot of you are with that. The Imperial Fascist League used a British Union Jack flag with a swastika in the center, but they weren't, to the best of my knowledge, again, I haven't read all their document viewpoints, but were more fascist than National Socialist. The Nordic League, the National Socialist League, that I believe is the Nazi as a National Socialist League. That is, if I remember correctly, because there were several groups, is William Joyce's group. William Joyce is known most popularly as Lord Haw-Haw. At least he was the main person who voiced Lord Haw-Haw. Before the war started, he had already escaped to Germany, because his group was sort of being really repressed, because they had originally started out as the founding members of that, and a bunch of their membership started out as the British Union of Fascists. But when the British Union of Fascists didn't adopt rigorous anti-Jewish viewpoint, They broke with them. And this is what you got to understand. I'm not saying fascist in Italy or fascist in, Britain, fascists weren't at all racist. But you got to understand with National Socialism as not just putting those two words together, which sometimes you can. Just to, oh, I'm a socialist. Oh, but I'm also a nationalist, not an internationalist. But I'm talking National Socialism as expressed as the Nazis in Nazi Germany and others who adopted, generally speaking, their viewpoints, and not just simply adopted some of the symbols, like the Imperial League or Imperial Fascist League, which was adopting the swastika. And I'm not saying that they love Jews or anything like that, but what I'm saying is, to the best of my knowledge, it wasn't at the core of their movement. The core of the Nazi movement is race. Although largely fascism and Nazism has the same or similar, however you want to put it, and it varies. Economic policies. Economics is sort of one of the main elements of fascism. It's also sort of ultra-nationalism is what fascism is about. National Socialism, the Nazis, is about race and other things. And so you do get Nazi movements in other Nordic countries, in places like in Britain, that would, generally speaking, adhere to the Nazi racial myth, so that they would be, they saw themselves as Anglo-Saxons, which are a flavor of German, so they were fully Aryan, that kind of thing. So those that truly believed in Nazism went to the National Socialist League, and once William Joyce left, the movement fell apart. There was no longer a driving force behind it. So by the time the war starts up, I think flees in early 39 or late 38 or something, flees to Britain because Britain was charging him with like embezzling money from the organization or whatever, just as a way, not that he was, I think, but for himself because he wasn't well employed or whatever, but just as a way to, pursue him and put him in prison. So he gets out. His main partner, I forget his name, or I remember it during this thing, stays in Britain, gets locked up. The Nordic League, I don't know a whole lot about. I know I've read some about it, but I couldn't really explain to you. And some of it does actually extend into some of these Nordic countries. How much fascist, how much National Socialist, how much other things, I don't quite know. They were going on. Now, the Right Club, that is a club that existed in Britain. Watch the document if you want it. It was a anti-Semitic organization. I don't think it was necessarily a Nazi organization, in that I don't necessarily, again, it's members of enough like-minded people, not a political party. So the Right Club was never anything that was meant to be a large mass population membership. It was sort of the right set of people, the elites. We're in a club. Britain likes clubs, and so we sort of know who each other are, and we can help each other out. You sort of control things behind the scenes. I would say the great majority of the Right Club's membership were very patriotic Britons. They just were anti-Semitic Britons. I don't think they were necessarily fascist Britons wanting to reorganize it, wanting to overthrow the Queen, because fascism ultimately wants to overthrow the Queen and set up a fascist type thing. They were right-wingers. Again, I don't know that there's a coherent political philosophy within the Right Club to say that they were either fascist or Nazi, but they were sort of an anti-Semitic right-wing club that was sympathetic to Germany in the sense that, yeah, Germany's doing the right thing for Germany. But once, for at least the great majority of the members, there was a few sort of way out there types were sort of collaborationists. Even before any invasion, they actually were trying to collaborate with Germany. But that, I think, was just a small handful within the Right Club. Most of them were leaders, pillars of society, which of course might not say great things for Britain, society and the Right Club. But once we're at war with Britain or war with Germany, we got to crush them. So That's my understanding of some of the things. And again, a lot of the British Union of Fascists probably would have fought for, and I think a lot of, they didn't lock up every single member, but they locked up a lot of the sort of core members. I think, like I say, about 5,000. Sure, there were a lot of supporters of the British Union of Fascists that were around, but weren't locked up, and joined the army and fought the Nazis. Probably some of those people were the later that joined the SS too, but so that's sort of my take on those different groups. And yes, if they were taken in, I think, well, if Britain was taken like we've taken them, I think a lot of them would have collaborated on different terms, different things. Okay, got a lot of uprisings. Battle. Take Britain with lots of troops. A lot of battles won because playing. Right now. Okay, this is something I coded up, and part of the reason you can tell. Very little writing. Not the greatest person. Okay, what should happen with you? This is vaguely based off of creating Vichy France. I created this, sent it over, and Panzeroo long ago included core Black Ice. This is not from TRE, this is from Black Ice, though. There's actually a file folder in the events called TRE, just because that's what I sent over. I expected them to copy and paste it in another existing thing, but no, they just used it at a haphazard. Black Ice has grown, so yeah, the TRE folder. So if you ever want to dig this up to modify it or check it out, then where Third Reich Events is Third Reich Events, .exe, the events folder. So this. Okay, so we can. This was what happens once Britain falls. Obviously, we're occupying a lot of territory here. What should happen with Egypt? Give it to Italy. Egypt will get Egypt in the Middle East, or we'll keep it. I think we're going to keep it because I want some of the oil here. I think this, but I think we're going to keep the German Reich need. Okay, and this just walks you through sort of country by country. So now we now have Egypt as this, ours, and yes, as you notice this here, and we are now, of course, occupying it. What because this was, and now I've told some people things. I am not a big worrier about border core, but this was just oil, not much, but oil here. Now, of course, we're going to be stuck at non-cores percent. Okay, Sudan, we can leave it to the English or give it to Italy. That's your choices. Because what? Oh, also, no, we might become. We're going to give it to Italy. It needs. Oh, Italy now has Sudan. Places. Cyprus. Italians are useless. Reich get Cyprus. Give it to Italy. Well, Italy wants its new Roman Empire. There's nothing here that we need. We built up. Well, radar even conquered past it. So we're going to give it to, I guess, British Somaliland. That is actually an independent country, or at least claimed to be an independent country, and the only part of Somalia they worked, because I do believe it's because it was a British colony and not an Italian colony. They no, I don't think any significant governments recognize Somaliland, and it's no longer called British Somaliland. It's just called Somaliland. The Somalia doesn't recognize, and no major governments recognize. And Puntland out here is, I don't know if it's fully, oh, and it's like Somaliland prints its own money, or it has its own money printed up in currencies and other things. So they have their own army, and it's basically peaceful. You can go walk around the towns unarmed, unescorted, where you can't in, because if you're like a Westerner, they're, you know, the Al-Shabaab and the other terrorists will get you. No, they don't allow the terrorists to operate. They shut the terrorists down if they try. They're well organized. Puntland up here is, my understanding, is where most of the pirates were coming from. I don't know how bad the pirate scene is going now. You remember different ships that taking, what, Maersk, Alabama, and other things were coming out of here. And so Puntland has sort of set up its own government. I don't know whether they really want to be completely independent or just some sort of autonomous region or whatever, but that's there. So, we're going to give it to Italy because Italy is our ally, and give it back to British. I think we're going to have coming up an event as maybe part of this is to be able to turn different status for England. So we're trying to do that. The Holy Land. Okay, so I guess we could have done next, but there is oil here. You have the not a whole lot, but oil. The Holy Land. What should happen with this? Give Holy Land to Italy or Holy Land to the Reich. So, part of what I'm dealing with is, when I made this event, was I'm just looking at these regions here. And try to neutral titles. We're going to give it to the Reich instead of Italy. Ours. Malta. What should happen with Malta? And yes, this is definitely done as what... I don't know what it's weighted for, if I even weighted the AI, but maybe what should happen with it. Give it to Italy or leave it, leave Malta to the English. And it's because we would have a ability to sort of puppet, or yeah, give England better status, but we're going to give it to Italy. Gibraltar. What should happen with Gibraltar? We can give it to Italy, we can give it Gibraltar to Spain, we can give Gibraltar to the Reich, and we can leave it as English. Well, you see, right now it's Italian. They took it. What would Germany do with this? They've got, I believe, radar here. So that was for me the main reason. A port would be an okay reason, but we could use that. So, since we have our Spanish allies, and we'll give them Gibraltar to Spain. Spain for helping us out. Just finally gets Gibraltar back after all of these years. I guess it just occupied. Units, wherever they were. Somebody else. Singapore. Traffic. What do? We can give it to Japan. Or we can keep it. Give it to the English if we were trying to set up as English as a European power. Or as try to maintain the English as a power. So we're going, so you have these options. We're going to give it to Japan. Okay, Hong Kong. Occupied territory. Hong Kong, Japan, or we're going to reward our Guess that's. Here's a post surrender. Thought I'm just. Okay, so deal with the outbreak of a bunch of ranger units. I got us all. Partisans outbreak. Post here. Ooh, more of the Dutch, or Belgian, sorry. Okay, they have decided Churchill escapes. Winston Churchill and important members of the British government have fled abroad aboard the fled abroad following loss of London. Churchill vows to fight on from afar and never ever to give up. The royal family has also fled with it. George VI announced a holy crusade to the kingdom. They are left with much of historic London in ruins, including Buckingham Palace, which burnt to fighting. Say so. Back in. We're now a naval builder because we've taken back. Good. Battle here. Oh, yes. Emperor finally took down. Sabotage of the Horseshoe Curve Railway Bend in America. Okay, if your agents are about to do it. Okay, and sabotage. All of these have been saying that they've been successful. So either it's a little too successful, or it's wait no. Part of the reason. So I just, when I coded these things, I just grabbed area Middle East that I've written correctly here, not here. Colonies, yes. So repair oil rig. Oil rig. Wait. Basis here is 3. Valiant is lost. Good. Oh, I'd love your feedback on the event. Or to think about it. Sort of look. Ace falls from your division. Okay, cool. Would like an ability to climb that, and I don't know, but currently, what do we occupy? Oh, I think we need to build some more. I know I could try to pull them from the WE. They are still sort of. Okay, now that we've got back all the coastal, we've got the English Channel effect, control over Europe. So national unity and ruling party support is increased. There, and here we have supplies, money, supply throughput, and resources. There is a lot of trade within the days of rail going up the channel. Supply throughput and resources a little more. Money, trade would be improved, and yeah, supply. So also got let's find supplies coming. Well, those resources are all 9 now. Supplies out there? No, we're not. Go out water damage. Brachial. Right here. No, not yet. Level 1 net. Over here, so how is render progress? Ooh, almost. Where is their victory? There, and everybody's coming in. Let's Spain. Spain can finally be great because what the only thing that's been holding Spain back from being great all these years is just because Britain's holding Gibraltar. That's why Spain has to get it back. Okay, and we got another Enforced puppet on Brazil. Okay, yep. Good, so now we have Brazil as a puppet. Alright. Or in the axis. Reason we maintain that, I guess. I don't know why, but okay. I sort of thought we would keep. Which this goes back to Vichy control, yay. Still. We are now puppet master because we now have enough puppets, no longer a regional puppet. But a complete puppet master. So 5% more national manpower. Doubling. No. No, I didn't tackle India. I tackled. Not some of the poor areas that broken out. Why? Because it's the way we get it as German territory. British hoping that though. Okay. I'll do out. If you're not seeing it, doing it. Wait a minute, what? Oh, this is because this has gone over to Japanese territory. Because I gave them... Oh, that's it, because I gave them Singapore. Ah, okay. So I lost... Well, I didn't lose this territory because this is part of Dutch Indo. But because I gave them Singapore, I also gave them this territory. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, well, that makes sense. I can't. Japan. Okay, I guess not. There is another sort of what to do with Britain after it's been defeated. And it may fire at the beginning of next month. Or that then. Okay, well, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. More great videos like this. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. Love hearing from you about some of these major events going on, what you think. If changed, how should they be changed? So, see you next time for more Hearts of Iron.